Hi, it's Paul Maunder from Production Expert. A while ago, I made a video about the excellent suite of plugins from Krotos Audio. Today, we're going to take a look again at Weaponizer and Reformer Pro and see how easy it is to achieve variation when these plugins are used together. In this session, I've got a video of a woman walking on some wooden decking by the sea. I've already created an instrument track and added Weaponizer. I've loaded up a preset called Leather Shoes on Wood Planks Heel Toe. If I click the fire button a couple of times, you can hear it triggering the sound. This doesn't just trigger a single sample repeatedly, it varies the samples used, along with the speed and pitch slightly each time it's triggered. I've got a MIDI keyboard connected, so let's use this to trigger the footsteps in real time. It's triggered by the C4 or C5 key depending on which DAW you're using. This can be a great option when you don't have the time, budget or facility to record Foley in the traditional way. Okay, I think my timing was fairly close there. Of course, one of the good things about doing this with MIDI is that it's really easy to edit the timing afterwards by just moving the MIDI notes. This is sounding okay for the footsteps, but I'd quite like to add a layer of cloth movement sound to it as well. I'm going to create a send from this track and route that to an aux, which is going to have Reformer Pro on it. I've got the cotton movement preset loaded. Reformer Pro is going to take its input from the footsteps track, essentially using the audio output of that track to trigger Foley cloth sounds. Let me set the send to pre-fader so we can turn down the footsteps and just hear the cotton movement initially. Now I think I need to set the response time to fast due to the short duration of the footsteps which are acting as the trigger. If I was using a longer, more sustained sound as the trigger, slow or medium may be a better choice. Now we'll reintroduce the footsteps. And I've got a track here of ambience. Maybe one of those footsteps is slightly out of time. That's no problem, I'll just move the MIDI note. Of course, because of the way I've got this set up, this is going to modify both the footstep and the associated cloth movement sound, making it easy to tweak both layers of Foley with zero audio editing. And remember, Weaponizer and Reformer Pro will randomize their sounds with each trigger, creating a very natural sounding result. The performative nature of these plugins makes for quite a fun workflow. When it's not practical or possible to record Foley, this is absolutely the fastest way to get a result which really works. Let me show you something else. Say we were working on a scene where there's a sword fight. I've triggered the fight sounds from Weaponizer. There are 3 instances here actually, all using a different preset from Krotos' Battle Bundle. On this first one, I've got Metal Shield Sword Deflects. The next one has a preset called Shouting Uppercut. And finally, there's a body fall on dirt. Together, they sound like this. I've also got an audio track in the session with some roughly recorded Foley movement sound on it. Here it is in its raw form. This audio, or a live mic input, can be used to trigger sound from Reformer Pro. I've chosen a combination of these Denim Movement and Leather Foley Pro presets to create this. And the whole scene sounds like this. Again, we can get considerable variation in these sounds by combining them, and the simple fact that Weaponizer and Reformer Pro will vary the triggered samples anyway. But one thing which makes this a good workflow for Foley is that you can basically spot to picture using MIDI instead of markers or clips. So I found it useful to watch a scene, drop MIDI notes in to coincide with actions or movements, and then of course not only can they trigger the sound from Weaponizer, but it's also really easy to swap those sounds at any point. If, for instance, I've triggered this Metal Sword Deflect preset many times throughout a scene, it's still straightforward to swap the entire sound or every instance of it just by changing settings in the plugin. I could load a different preset, for example, and now we've got different sounds for this track. The variation and randomization possibilities with these plugins makes them a powerful toolset for audio post, especially when used together as I demonstrated in the first example. Krotos do a number of bundles which include both plugins and a bunch of libraries for each at a big discount. Check them out at krotosaudio.com. Thanks for watching.